you like to join us? Of course, the odds against you are about 10 million to 1. But if you think like a billionaire, those odds shouldn't faze you at all. Billionaires don't care what the odds are. We don't listen to common sense or do what's conventional or expected. We follow our vision, no matter how crazy or idiotic other people think it is. That's what this audiobook is about, learning how to think like a billionaire. Even if you absorb only 10% of the wisdom you're about to hear, you'll still have a good shot at becoming a millionaire. And a millionaire's not so bad, is it? In my previous audiobook, How to Get Rich, I shared some of my favorite techniques for running a profitable business and becoming a TV megastar. Consider this the second part of an ongoing conversation between you and the Donald, the billionaire's equivalent of those best-selling works of inspiration, Conversations with God and Conversations with God, Book 2. I'm only kidding. Actually, I'm sure some wise guy in the media is going to accuse me of comparing myself to God. So for the record, I definitely do not think I'm God. I believe in God. If God ever wanted an apartment in Trump Tower, I would immediately offer my best luxury suite at a very, very special price. I believe God is everywhere and in all of us, and I want every decision I make to reflect well on me when it's time for me to go to that big boardroom in the sky. When I get permanently fired by the ultimate boss, I want the elevator to heaven to go up, not down. Some of you may think it's wrong to talk about God and business in the same breath, but God has always been central to our way of thinking about capitalism. The Protestant work ethic has thrived for centuries. The pursuit of prosperity is ingrained in our religious culture. The more you have, the more you can give.
No one else in the company signed his checks until I came to work. He had absolutely no doubt about my ability. His faith gave me unshakable confidence. Even when I was at my lowest in the early 1990s, when the real estate market tanked and I was billions in debt, and Ivana and her lawyers and 100 banks were ready to sue my ass off, my father told me he had absolutely no doubt that my business would be fine. He'd say, "You are a killer. You are a king." My father never wanted to build in Manhattan. He thought it was too expensive. He'd say, "If I can buy a piece of land for $1 a square foot in Brooklyn, why should I pay $1,000 a square foot in Manhattan?" It was a different philosophy, but it worked for him. I'd been working in the family business for 5 years when I made the move into Manhattan. Some critics had suggested that my success is a result of family money, but family money didn't get my first Manhattan projects built. I had to raise tens of millions of dollars from investors for those jobs. It wasn't money that my father gave me. It was knowledge. Knowledge that became instinctive for me. When I was in college, I thought about becoming a movie producer. But whenever I talked to a friend about real estate, he would say, "Why would you want to make movies when you already know so much about real estate?" So, yes, my father was a millionaire many times over. But if he hadn't shown me how to think about business, I never would have made it into the Billionaires Club. I wish I could tell you that the Billionaires Club meets regularly at Mar-a-Lago, where we gather to analyze our portfolios, make blockbuster deals, eat caviar, and drink vintage wine. But the truth is, I don't drink. I'd rather eat a steak than caviar, and I've met only about 20 of the club members over the years, often on the golf course, where we tend to talk more about our game than our net worth. Still, I've studied fellow billionaires from afar, and I've also read what others have written about us. In an article for Forbes by Matthew Herper, Robert Barron, a psychologist at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, said we are persuasive and have strong social skills, that we call upon our charisma to make a sale. In the same article, Kelly Shaver, a professor of psychology at William and Mary College, says we don't care what other people think about us. She said, they're just happy to go off and do what they're doing. I agree. My father thought I was nuts to build in Manhattan, but I didn't listen to him because I had my own vision. One of my favorite billionaires is Warren Buffett, who has his own vision too. He didn't follow the stampede into the dot-com gold rush, even though he was widely criticized for remaining a traditional value investor. Now he once again looks like a genius. One of many things I admire about Warren is that in all of his years as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, he has never sold one share of stock.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Another student of successful entrepreneurs, Michael Maccabee, psychoanalyst and consultant, believes that billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, and Ted Turner are successful in part because they are narcissists who devote their talent with unrelenting focus to achieving their dreams, even if it's sometimes at the expense of those around them. His book, The Productive Narcissist, makes a convincing argument that narcissism can be a useful quality if you're trying to start a business. A narcissist does not hear the naysayers. At the Trump Organization, I listen to people. But my vision is my vision. In The Natural History of the Rich, author Richard Conniff put it this way. Almost all successful alpha personalities display a single-minded determination to impose their vision on the world, an irrational belief in unreasonable goals bordering at times on lunacy. He quotes a passage from Michael Lewis on entrepreneur Jim Clark in The New Thing. He was a guy who always won the game of chicken because his opponent suspected he might actually enjoy a head-on collision. I doubt Jim Clark really would enjoy that collision, but the fact that he has convinced people that he might has a lot to do with his success. Here are my top 10 ways of thinking like a billionaire. Number 1, don't take vacations. What's the point? If you're not enjoying your work, you're in the wrong job. Even when I'm playing golf, I'm doing business. I never stop, and I'm usually having fun. Now that my kids are joining the family business, I'm closer to them than I've ever been. And I'm finding out that I love relating to them just the way my own father related to me, through a passion for work well done. By the way, I'm not the only one who doesn't take vacations. My NBC compatriot Jay Leno works just as much as I do, and maybe that's one of the reasons he stayed on top in the late-night ratings wars. Number 2, have a short attention span. Most successful people have very short attention spans. It has a lot to do with imagination. Quite often I'll be talking to someone and I'll know what they're going to say before they say it. After the first 3 words are out of their mouth, I can tell what the next 40 are going to be.